What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be taking a look at the content coming tomorrow, but more specifically about the new cards added into College Football 25 Ultimate Team today in Isaiah Bond, the 94 overall wide receiver, as well as the new middle linebacker, Danny Stutsman from OU Boomer Sooner, 93 speed. Absolutely incredible. So these two cards being added into the game, I do believe they're only available via packs, and obviously today's not necessarily like a big pack drop. Tomorrow will be. So like they're probably not being pulled too much right now either. So none of these are actually up on the auction house, but these two cards are in the game. Now let's take a look at each of these cards and then we'll dive into tomorrow. Isaiah Bond, 93 speed, good route runner, 5'11". Nothing really negative I can say about him. Spin move, juke move is not great for Isaiah Bond. So, I mean, he kind of reminds me slightly of a guy like Ryan Williams, where, you know what, he's going to catch the ball well. Short route running is way better. But, like, his ability to make people miss after catching the ball is not great. Obviously, is going to get open at a really high level. Blow past defenders as well with that speed. That is something to think about. For Stutsman, he's 6'4" middle linebacker, 93 speed, good zone coverage, good hit power, good tackler. I mean, just an absolute beast. Change of direction as 77's kind of troll, in my opinion. But this card is an absolute beast as well. So these two cards, two of your better cards in the entire game. Just comes down to right now, those cards are going to be insanely high in price. Now, let's talk a little bit about these cards. Okay, those cards in price tomorrow will probably be like 700, 800,000 coins. Now, the content coming tomorrow, we're going to see the stories of the week. So the Rising the Ranks promo in the game. Now, right now, I don't have a bunch of stories of the week players on my squad. I don't even know who I've got. I've got, Pregnon, who I think is an absolute beast. This is a card in Pregnon at the left guard position I think is an absolute beast. However, if you can get 168,000 coins, I think you have to sell the card. And it's one of those things, I do think he's one of the best left guards in the game. I don't really even want to have to sell him, but it just comes down to the fact that if I could get 167 out of him, and let's say, oh, this Pregnon, wait. I'm so confused here. Oh, did I already list him? Or, okay, that's not my Pregnon. I'm confused here. Wait, he is my Pregnon. But if you can get that amount out of Pregnon, I feel like you have to sell the card ultimately. And so for me, here's my Pregnon. He has that Oregon team chemistry. I'm going to refund this, and I am going to put him up for 167,000 coins. Because I genuinely could see this price, or at least me being able to get this card for like less than 100,000 coins tomorrow. We'll have to see if we get another left guard. We'll have to see exactly what prices end up being. But I definitely could see that happening. So that's just kind of where I'm at and kind of how I value things. Pregnon is an absolute beast of a left guard, but for that price, you've got to sell him. He's gonna go down in price. The other thing is the other cards in the Rise in the Ranks promo. Some of these cards are gonna go down even more. Like if you have Rucker, if you have Hunter, these are cards that are going to lose some value. So again, I've already talked about Pregnon. If you have some of these other cards, probably look to sell them, especially if we see some other good cards in packs tomorrow, because people are going to be opening packs for the new season 3 cards, those 94 overalls that were added into the game. People are going to be opening packs out for these two cards. Now, if we combine these two cards with some other really good cards in the stories of the week coming tomorrow, the auction house could see a pretty big drop-off. Now, it is also important to note, since we did get a new middle linebacker, Manti Te'o's price could be going down as well. Now, I'm not going to overspend for Manti Te'o. Card is an absolute beast. We'll see what his price ends up being. But definitely when Stutsman comes out, he has 93 speed compared to Te'o's at a 90. Pretty big difference right there for sure. Should see Manti Te'o's price decrease by a decent amount. I'm not going to say it's going to be ridiculous, but his price definitely should decrease. So if you do have any more of these like stories of the week players, I don't know for Glasgow, like he was obviously in last season's sets. So I don't know for him how much his price is going to go down for sure. But I feel like a lot of these cards should lose a lot of value. So even for Glasgow, like for me, I know, I bought the card. I might end up losing some coins on him. But a lot of these cards are cards, if you hold on to, you're really risking it, guys. You are really, dealing with some risky business. So that's just something that I would think about, even for me in Glasgow. I like the card, but right now it's just not necessarily, in my opinion, worth holding on to this card for as expensive as he is. All it takes is us to see a better left outside linebacker and for me to lose all of my value on Glasgow. So you guys see a lot of times I like to build a really good squad. I like to have a really good squad. But at the end of the day, you got to really, ask yourself, is this squad worth having? If it's not, don't be afraid to sell the cards. And if it is worth having, then obviously you can run whatever squad you want to. But even with James Pierce Jr., like, we're seeing better and better right ends. So I would just be careful at this stage holding on to some cards. Now, obviously, James Pierce Jr. at the right end position, he's really, really good. That 90 speed's ridiculous. But is he that much better than some of the other guys that we've seen? I don't know. He's probably slightly better, but I don't think it's by much. So even for me and James Pierce Jr., it could be a guy that I do go through and at least try to sell today. I like James Pierce Jr., but I think a lot of these cards are going to lose some values come tomorrow, because we did see a price bump of these season 3 cards. They went from a 93 overall to a 94 overall. So it is just something to kind of keep in the back of your minds and think about heading into tomorrow's drop. So for me, that's kind of what I've got my eye on. That's kind of what I'm personally thinking about here, is how can I maximize my coins with where they're at right now? And since we are seeing at least, some really good season 3 cards coming tomorrow, should you sell any of the cards you personally have? Even for me and Jay Higgins. I like Jay Higgins, but we're seeing a middle linebacker added to the game who's better than Jay Higgins. And, Jay Higgins come on Friday is going to lose some more value. So I don't know how much I'm going to play the game before Friday. So it's probably worth my time to get rid of Jay Higgins as well. It's painful when you have team chemistries on all these cards, but it's one of the things that I do believe is worth my time to do right now in this game. So again, that's kind of my approach to things. I think with the new season 3 cards receiving an overall bump, with new content coming tomorrow throughout the weekend, it's worth my time to go through and sell a lot of these cards. We'll see what prices I can get for a lot of them, but especially with the Heisman hopefuls drop, I am not going to hold the bag on a lot of these cards. Like, a lot of these cards, I think come Friday, especially if we see an overall bump, are going to lose some big time value. So just got to be careful holding on to cards for a little bit too long before you lose basically all your value on them. Now again, if you do have Oregon team chemistries on specific cards, that changes things a little bit for sure. Don't act like I'm not saying it doesn't, because it absolutely does change things. But at the end of the day, you've got to prioritize, building your squad as good as possible, while meanwhile holding on to as many coins as you can. So that's kind of my approach to things. I'm going to slowly try to empty out my collection. I think, as far as the LTDs, like Dismukes, I even think Luke Cliche, a lot of these cards I'm personally fine holding on to. But it can get dangerous if you really don't have a bunch of coins. So, I would be smart with it, especially with the Stories of the Week cards coming tomorrow. If you have any of these cards, and I've kind of already mentioned it, but if you have a guy like, Hunter, if you have a guy like Rucker, even McCoy, Sawyer Robinson, like, these cards are going to lose some value, especially Pregnon, come tomorrow. So definitely be smart with your coins. Try to make them last as long as possible, especially when we're getting some new Season 3 cards added into the game. This Danny Stutsman is going to be literally the best card, and maybe in the entire game. That 93 speed as a middle linebacker user is just absolutely ridiculous at 6'4". Isaiah Bond's going to blow past anybody. It's crazy though. Isaiah Bond has the same speed as the middle linebacker. Like, to put things in perspective, guys, Danny Stutsman has the same exact speed as Isaiah Bond. Tell me how that makes sense to you guys, because it really doesn't to me. But that's kind of the era we're in college football Ultimate Team. Things are gonna get crazy here sooner rather than later. Charles Woodson, we're not that far away from either. Things are gonna get really, really crazy here in the very near future. So that's gonna wrap it up for my video. Hopefully some of my things sell. Hopefully I can make some coins off of them, some solid coins, and continue moving forward in that right direction. Do need to start playing champs. It does end in 2 days, so maybe I just need to start playing champs, seeing where I can get from there. But yeah, I'm not gonna worry about a lot of those things. I had to sell some of my cards, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. You don't want to lose a bunch of coins. That's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. Drop a like on it. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.